Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Perfect Balance Tribe Class, a place where conscious-minded individuals are encouraged and guided towards a realization of their full potential through the powers of collective reasoning. We have with us today Okavango, the Rebel Guru. We have Bingi and Yaga, aka Teacher Mapa.
Yeah, man, I forward
Yes,
with me
thanks.
tree
Yes,
them today, you
thanks.
know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
And
the
I
rooster.
have tree.
Yeah, man.
And the
Yeah,
rooster.
man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We're in a natural environment, you know.
Yes,
Like me
sir.
also,
Give thanks,
I
man.
want that to fly around you. I want that. A butterfly.
I fly, man. All up in a habitat, you know, a part of the ecosystem. Perfect balance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
The
sir.
perfect
Give thanks.
balance,
Give
isn't
to
it?
the eye, the sun.
man.
They are beam. They are
Yeah,
beaming,
man.
Yaga.
Yeah, man.
right.
Yeah,
Beaming.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man. Nice
man, they're
recharging
beaming.
going on here.
Yes, sir. Which is
Yeah.
right. Which is
Yeah.
right.
That is it, man.
We here for another tribe class, and I think this one is gonna be a very controversial tribe class. Speaking about racial inclusivity in the Rastafari community. We look on Rastafari movement as an international and global movement, and we see whereas in the early days of Rastafari, whereas it was predominantly a African movement, today we see Rastafari in many shades, colors, and places. So we want to have a reasoning with the item, what the item position on this, and what the item think of how it affects Rastafari and the benefits and cons of this occurrence. What do I say, Yaga? What do I think about this reasoning?
All right. First of all, we have to establish what is Rastafari. We established this in a previous reasoning. Saying, so if we say Ras means head, yeah, and Tafari, what does Tafari
Creator.
mean? Creator.
Creator.
So it's the head creator, and
Mhm.
and I follow Rastafari based on his teachings, based on his philosophy, and based on his principles. When we look at those values and principles, what are we looking at? So there are other people from other cultures, from other race, who are going to take on to those teachings, who are going to take on to those principles. Are they wrong in taking on those good values? Are they wrong in taking on those good philosophies? I don't think so. But there are people who are going to have objection, because I know white people who share that philosophy of Rastafari and love the Jamaican culture so much that when they see I and I, who is not making a certain trad, who is dressed in a certain way, who is wearing a certain type of hair, they find it difficult to understand why people would not want to be a Rastafari, why people wouldn't want to have their own natural hair. So for me, it's perfectly okay. All are welcome. As long as you're on the trad and you walk in the good trad and you're representing the values, you are more than welcome.
Yes, sir. Bingy, what do I say on this?
So, because Rastafari was really founded on the foundation of Pan-African ideology, right? The movement back to Africa, repatriation, the king, there came a black identity with it, an African identity with Rasta, right? So Rasta, those who prescribe to Rasta and Rastafari were dominantly, not even predominantly, but dominantly Africans, right? Coming out of Jamaica, influencing the rest of the Caribbean, so we see that happening during the times from Leonard Howell till now. The inclusivity part about Caucasians within Rastafari is a tough one, and I'll tell you why. We as a people, there are things that we must be able to preserve, right? There must be inclusivity. I agree with inclusivity. But we must have things that we can preserve and call our own in a priestly order, the way it is passed down from generation to generation through the priesthood, where you only have a certain people who have a certain, I should say, inner core access to certain functionalities within the organization that we have. And the reason for that being is I think it keeps it pure. I think there's a purity, and I'm not saying that all human beings are not the same, all human beings are not pure, but there is that originality that's lost, then, so to speak, when you have an interjection of something else, right? It's like your grandmother used to make cookies a certain way, but now you make it a different way. So it's no longer original, right? The base changes. Inclusivity, I'm all for, but I'm also for preservation. So, being African, I think there are some things that African people must preserve within the organization. Look, I went bingy first night with the eye them, and for the first time, I man sight white people in bingy in the procession. I never saw that before, right? And that was a shocking thing to I still, because I never seen that. I never went bingy and seen white people functioning. So that was like a eye opener to I still. And I think I'm worldly, right? I've traveled, I've seen Rasta all over the earth, but I've never seen that. So it takes time for a lot of I and I to accept what is happening, right? And it's happening naturally. Meaning every man have a right to participate, function. His majesty, like the I say, was welcoming. He opened his arms to all. That's his majesty principle. Even his enemies who fought against him. He said, those of you who wish to stay. Those of you who wish to leave, leave. He even give them, he show them compassion. So we must have that spirit, but even in his majesty have functions that stayed amongst a certain class of people, individual, that stayed sacred. There are functions that nobody outside of that circle knew except for the men who were there with him, right? So you preserve certain anciency, certain historical key components of organizations. That to me is, I think, where I would have a difference in opinion as far as how this thing is moving. How inclusivity, I'm all for, but there are certain things that we as Rasta people, right, and African people, we too have to preserve. The reason why we preserve it is that so that it doesn't change. Because it's like now, what we get is what they have changed throughout time, right? So that's why today we have lost our identities. So we have to understand how to preserve things that we have seen change because of integration. So we must have that aspect of integrating or integration built into our organizations as well. I think so, because I'm telling you, I I was in the park with the IDEM, and the IDEM see my reaction. I was like, I never seen this.
As as
I
as
never
long
seen
as
this. I like, what's
as
going
long
on
as
here?
long as it's not infiltration and
Right,
they want to be
right,
a part
right,
of the tribe,
right, right,
embracing the
right.
values, embracing the lifestyle, and
Yes,
and moving the movement forward.
forward. No, people
Yeah,
are
man.
people, And if you look at African history and struggle throughout time, Caucasian people have always been there, helping African people, People are people. But there are still things that we, as African people, as a people, we
Yeah,
must
man.
preserve. Yeah.
As long as the core
Yes, you must.
remains Pan
Yes, they
African
must.
and
Yes.
remains
Yeah.
Rastafari, then
Yeah,
it's
you must
all
preserve
good.
those
I would say
principles.
it's all good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
The
Yes.
rebel guru.
man,
Yes.
give talk, brother.
Yes.
For white Rasta or white people becoming a Rasta or saying that they're Rasta or trading Rastafari, I don't see the sense of it. I don't accept it. It don't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't see how, because what I know of Rastafari, one of the core of Rastafari is the Black Power movement. So Black Power movement is empowering Black people. That's one of the cores of Rastafari. You know what I mean? Empowering Black people. So I don't know, white person challenging Rastafari. What are you empowering? And what's the core of that? Because this is Black empowerment. This is when you grow your here as a Rasta, is you embracing your Black self, because that was taken from you. You know what I mean?
That's probably what they are doing Okavonga, embracing their black self.
Ooh,
The white one.
okay. But I'm okay. But I'm saying I don't see how a white person can. I am maybe there is something else that a white person can do to help the empowerment. But I don't think that is Rastafari. So for me, I don't really accept a white Rasta. I don't see, it doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense. Rastafari is a Black Power movement from Marcus Garvey to look for a Black kings. You know what I mean? It's everything black. Rastafari is black. It's a Black people thing. You know what I mean?
We have to look at it, and see.
Who said a while ago about infiltration? We have to be careful these people don't come and infiltrate, because as Bingy said, we're at Bingy the other day. And I've never seen, I think maybe I've seen white people at Bingy before, but these white people were very close to the tabernacle.
In the
Looking
tabernacle.
like they want to play the harps.
In the tabernacle.
In the tabernacle.
You know what
I mean, and this is,
it's funny.
so maybe, next year they want to be playing the drums?
It's funny.
And choosing the song to sing?
It's funny how we're talking about this, yeah? I tried up at Maroon Town the other day with the family, and we had to take out the culture, we had to take out the settings, and right where the seal is in the yard, with all the viol and the maya and the rastrum, there was a white angel below that, and my eyes caught that right away. So I said, what is this? So the tour guide said, yo, the people who are preserve and maintain this, them like that, I for them thing that, so we make them do for them thing. But when I say, yo, that if you paint, that's yeah, man. So it's right in the midst of us, it's right in the midst of us, and we have to be very careful of the infiltration. But one question I would ask the panel, yeah, what brought these people to Rastafari?
That would be a personal
That's a personal thing still.
Yeah, but I have an assumption, and my assumption is that through the music, they've gravitated towards Rastafari. And if we look at, that's one thing. And if we look at the music in Europe and where it's at, some of the biggest reggae festivals that we have now is happening outside of the Caribbean, outside of Jamaica and in Europe. Yeah.
So
it is something. Yeah.
So Yaga, so as I always said, there's not Rastafari is a what do you call it? A couple of things coming together. I couldn't find the right word. Coming together. So you have the Black Power movement.
Amalgamation.
Okay, yeah, that big word. So you have the Black Power movement, right? And then you have the cultural aspect of Rastafari, the spiritual part of Rastafari. So a lot of these people, they see the cultural thing, they see Rastafari smoking the weed, they see the black, and they say, oh yeah, I like that. You know what I mean? And that's what they come for. They just come to smoke some weed and do the year.
Another connection.
You know what I mean? And because Rasta say, you know what I mean, one love, we preach about one love. And they're about one love too. You know what I mean? They're about, you know what I mean? Because it's one love, smoking, growing here is not even unique to Rastafari.
And some people identify with the struggle.
To Rastafari. And they love that aspect of it. But Rastafari is not one thing. You know what I mean? So it's also a Black Power movement. It's also a Black Power movement, and we can just like brought it on that big part of Rastafari, one of the major
so what do we do to those people? Movement. What do we do to those people who come in our midst and want to be a part of the movement.
As I said, want to be a part of the movement, and you can want to be anything you want to be, but can you be anything you want to be? You can't be anything you want to be. You can be the best that you are, but you can't be anything that you want to be. Some things that you just can't be. That's it.
But
So
the question Yaga asked was, what do you do with these people, right? So, Yaga, I don't think there's nothing to be done with these people. I think for I, right, who trod in Rastafari, we must have a collective understanding of the things we must preserve. As a people, it is our responsibility. So there are certain functions within Rastafari that we must preserve to keep its origination ideology, right? Black Power movement, His Majesty, repatriation, them is the thing, we going back home. Where's their home, right? Things like that. So certain ideologies, principles we preserve. There's nothing to do with these people. They have come to us for whatever reasons they have come to us, whether we peace loving, we non-violent, we spiritual, we iritical, whatever the reasons they escape, whatever the reasons they come, they have come. We will accept that because we follow in the principles of His Majesty still. We will
Right.
accept that. But like His Majesty, we must preserve core things like His Majesty did.
All right.
Same way.
My views on this is kind of I don't know if you say what's the term they use here? I will you remember the term right now, but very because within my understanding of Rastafari is that we as black people, as African people, we identify this movement, this ideology as Rastafari because it was brought to us again through His Majesty Kadamawe Haile Selassie. That lifestyle was brought to us again through Leonard Owen, Marcus Garvey, King Emmanuel, re-emerged in our culture to say, okay, this was a way that we used to live and this is a lifestyle that people live. Now, this lifestyle is not unique to African people, it's not unique to Rastafari as a movement, right? The ideology that we travel under and carry is not unique to, and is represented in every nation in the world, but not represented as Rastafari. So first and foremost, right? Now, if a person, I remember saying, Rastafari deal black liberation, black redemption, black repatriation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if a person cite the liberation aspect of Rastafari and feel that, that draw them to it, that freedom, that freeness within the ideology of Rastafari, and they want to practice and live Rastafari. It don't matter the color, it don't matter the creed, it don't matter the ethnic origin of the ones who want to do that because them side that I know. So this is a free water wave. You understand what I'm saying? So the ones them as we grow, as Rastafari grow, it is gonna be exposed to all different cultures because through the music, as you're gonna identify, Rastafari culture has been presented to every nation in the world. Every nation in the world, right? And the positivity of Rastafari, anyone who have that positive mindset, go be in tune to it and go be attracted to it like magnetism. So for one of our next nation, right, be attracted to positive, right? We can't beat that, we can't fight that. Because we have grew up positivity.
I don't mean to cut you, but reggae music is not Rasta music.
We're not saying it's Rasta music. We're saying
So
that a lot of the
whatever they
people
learn from reggae music, that's not Rasta music. That's not Rasta. That's reggae
But that's
artists
the
singing
introduction.
positivity.
That's saying
Right.
that's the
That's the
gateway.
point we're making.
Yeah, that's saying is the
So-
gateway.
That's what brought them. That's part of what brought them.
But that's not Rasta
Yeah.
music.
We're
No,
not.
no, it's
That's
not.
reggae
Rasta
artists
music,
singing-
Rasta
singing
music,
what-
and Naya Bingi, brother.
Naya
One,
Bingi-
two, order.
and Naya
That's
Bingi
a
music
Rasta
brought them.
music.
And Naya Bingi music brought them to Rasta.
No.
And reggae music.
Right, that is the point that we're making. So we're saying that through the music, it introduced a lot of people to the movement of Rastafari. And
So
reggae music
Reggae
is
music. Reggae music.
reggae music is one of the major introducers of Rastafari culture
To the
globally.
world.
Globally.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
You understand
yes.
what I'm saying? One of the most iconic Rasta person in the world is Bob Marley. And the reason why I have that status is the music I'm dealing. So
That
that
Yeah.
is
is
the
one.
point of what I'm
But
That
saying.
is one
when me I
aspect.
say, when me I say that
That is one
aspect,
aspect. That is
one
one
aspect, that
aspect
aspect.
of Bob Marley that brought the masses to Rasta. What is the other
Mhm.
aspect? Let's not
But
ignore it.
when me, you may say no, Yaga.
Nice liberty too.
The aspect of Rasta where reggae music teach people that 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 are Rasta.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
but
reggae artists think that
no
because
doubt.
more Rasta where I know and grew up with. They not even listen to reggae music.
Yeah, true,
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
true.
So
Yeah, but it doesn't take away
reggae
from the
Rasta.
fact.
Eh?
It
Eh?
doesn't take away from the fact that is what brought them to
No, what me I
Rastafari.
say. So reggae not teach people the really core values of
Of
Rasta.
Rasta.
No, but
Because
that is not. But
Let's
that is
not
not the
say that
argument.
because
That is not the argument.
no,
you
no,
have
Bingy, the thing is,
re-
them come with a thinking, okay, reggae music is Rasta, and I'm gonna live like what reggae
yes,
say. But
yes,
for
yes.
me, that is not Rasta. What
It's
reggae music
not.
is
We
say about
Right,
agree
Rasta
with
is
that.
right.
not
We
Rasta.
agree with
So
that.
what they
True.
come
We
with,
are.
what they learn and
Yes,
come with,
yes.
that's not no Rasta.
Right.
That they come
Because
with
it's not.
Right.
one love and smoke some weed. One love
Yeah,
and
Right.
man.
smoke some weed. That is not Rasta.
But you
Right. Right.
have reggae artists who sing reggae songs, reggae
Who
Mm-hmm.
music
is Rasta?
that speak to the core message of Rastafari as well.
They're not
A
popular.
lot of
They're
they're,
not popular.
That's
they're
why they
not
are not in
popular.
Europe.
That is true.
They're
That
not
is true.
popular.
That's
That
why
is
they are
true.
not in Europe. And then they are the big
Mhm.
shows.
They're not as popular.
Right.
They're
Because
not as
who
popular.
teach real Rastafari values
Mm-hmm.
and real Rastafari core value of Rastafari, they're not
Mm-hmm.
popular.
No.
And it's true. As they're not as popular.
Remember, you know,
But that's the whole point. The point is why I
remember,
was saying there's preservation is because when we look at they take a watered down ideology of what they
Of
think,
Rastafari, I think
yeah,
that
about
is it.
Rastafari.
Right.
So that's why it is our duty, to preserve
The
Right.
core.
core
But
understanding.
again, right? Again, you have to remember too that you have the ones them, right? Were introduced to Rastafari culture through the music, right? Reggae
Yes.
music, right?
Yes.
Those ones now who really have that mindset to really come to the fullness of Rastafari don't just stay there either, you know. Then go and do the research now.
Yeah, well.
Them
True.
check out
True.
the
True.
readings and writings of within Rastafari culture.
True.
And them go to the gatherings of Rastafari.
True.
Them participate in the reasonings of Rastafari. You understand what I said? Them go to the Christians of Rastafari. So now them become grounded. Like a Walter Rodney said, grounded. You
Yes.
know?
because a
Them
lot
have
of
that
ones,
desire.
a
But it
lot of ones,
started through that introduction.
a lot of ones go through the same struggles that we go through, and they identify, we develop our core defense mechanism, our coping mechanism, and through the culture, through Rastafari, through music, we have gone through a lot of hardships. But nonetheless, the way we were brought up to deal with these hardships that we've been through, no psychologists, no sociologists could prepare us to deal with these situations. And they wanting to be a part of that, gravitate. That's one way for them to gravitate towards the culture. And Rastafari is the
Right.
gateway.
Right. So to seal up my point, then, we're not gonna be able to stop ones and ones from chanting Rastafari, right? What I am of the opinion is that within Rastafari movement, within Rastafari community, there has to be regulations that these people have to go through. Like, let's say you're going to a military organization. You start as a private, once you work and accomplish, you're elevating rank, you're elevating rank, you're elevating rank. The more proficient you become in this movement. You understand what I'm saying?
It could be a block based on
Oh,
expertise. It
Oh,
could
that.
be a block based on experience and what people do that bring
no.
different
How you
skill
do
sets
that?
to the
How you
movement.
do that? How you do that fire is that the movement of it established as the mission. If you come in as a person of a different nation, especially the real challenge, the real challenge is because of the historical context of the Caucasian and the African. That is the real struggle why we really have a problem with. Because I don't believe there is such a problem if we see an Indian trading as Rastafari or a Chinese or Japanese trading as Rastafari. But
I
because of the,
see when I see all of them.
I see where this all right, so we could look on this thing, right? So within Rastafari, right? Leonard Owen established the movement of Rastafari within Jamaica as a movement, right? He established the location Pinnacle, right? As a headquarters to Rastafari in a time when them Rastafari couldn't even own property, right? So how were they able to own Pinnacle? How were the Rastafari within that time able to own Pinnacle?
So I'm just gonna tell us that.
They were assisted because African people in the time could not own property. So they were assisted through the Indian community and the Chinese community where they purchased the property and Leonard Owen gave them the money to purchase the property.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Before we go further, were those Indians and Chinese Rasta?
No.
Okay, go on.
No, they weren't Rasta. Leonard Owen, right, had a link with them, a weed link with them.
Yeah,
so them have a strong link. And as a result of that, them deal with that, right? But the point I'm making is that if we did not have that solidarity with these communities, then something as significant and iconic in Rastafari like Pinnacle, we would not have attained that. So,
Dada, I'm not saying that we should be enemies,
No, I'm not saying.
So I'm saying, all right, Rastafari have a strong Indian influence,
Very strong.
very strong Indian influence. But those Indians are not Rasta.
Where does the Indian influence come from?
From
Where?
India.
From India.
Yes.
From India. From the
Yeah.
what?
So-
is the Sheik? Is the Sheiks?
No.
what do you call it?
The
What was the name?
Sadhus came to the Caribbean, right? So the Sadhus
Sadhus,
came
right?
to the
Sadhu.
Caribbean,
Sadhu.
so they were the first
Sadhu.
men we saw in the West with locks, right? The Sadhus. They
Right.
introduced ganja from the river Ganges.
Right.
That's why it's called ganja.
Ganja.
Right? So the influence, but not only that, their spiritual understanding is
It's
what
similar.
really is significant amongst
Yes.
how Rasta is influenced by the
Right.
Indians from
Right.
India,
Right.
their
Right.
culture, that integration, how they understood things. So they because what they came with was nature. A
Right.
reintroduction to
Right.
nature,
To
fine.
nature.
Right.
What
So-
they come with
and-
was
and that- and
clear
that-
understanding of herbs,
And
medicines, natural. Yeah, man.
and that exists in every nation.
Yes, natural.
That
Yes.
ideology exists in every nation.
Every nation, yes.
Yes,
so,
sir.
so Bingi, to add
Yes,
to your
sir.
point, that is where the spiritual connection
Yes,
with
I.
nature is from
Yes,
with
I.
Rasta. But those Indians, the Sadhus, they weren't Rasta.
They
No,
don't
they
identify
Sadhus.
themselves as the name Rasta.
But
But
I'm
the
saying that
liberty,
right. They don't
the
identify as
liberty,
Rasta, right?
Liberty
The
is
And
Rasta.
they
liberty
don't
is
have
the
they
same.
don't have a black agenda either. They're not trying
No,
the black power movement. So that's what that's what I'm saying. A white person, a Caucasian, could locks up their hair all they want. But the thing is, they identify as something else, not Rasta. Because
Okay.
so you know what I mean, they could start with nature. They could lock their hair all they want, but they're not Rasta. They're not Rasta because we're the black power movement.
Even if they are following the teachings and the principles of
Even
Rastafari,
if they're following the teachings of His Majesty.
Because the
Because
next thing we
Rasta
have
is
to
not
know
just
too,
one. Rasta,
Is that-
all right. Yaga, let's go deeper into this now.
Mm.
Rastafarians who trod Rastafari way and Rastafari Makanen is not the same thing. Because Rastafari trod do things and there are things that are implemented in Rastafari trad that has nothing to do with Rastafari Makanen. So it's don't get them mixed together. And I mean, Rastafari, we grew over here. Rastafari Makanen didn't grow his ear. You know what I mean? And I could go on the line and list a lot of stuff that are different. You
Amen.
understand?
Amen.
So it's not just the teachings of Rastafari. Rastafari, the trad has other aspects to it, different from the teachings. Rastafari Makanen is the core of the trad. But the trad also gather things from other to trad along the way.
On. Yes, sir.
Of
Yeah.
course, it
I
has
So
think
would
we
they
to.
them say this is an example of cultural appropriation?
What?
The other people treading the tread.
No, see, I don't even want to say cultural appropriation because I'm saying there are other. You go all around the world because I couldn't remember the names. So you
Yeah,
have
I'm
the
saying
Sadhus
it's confusion.
in
That's what it
India,
is.
right? In Senegal, you have the Muslims. I can't remember the name. The is a Hesreto. You remember them Dingy?
Oh,
They grow
who's
locks
that?
just like Rasta, but they are Muslims.
Nah, them is Indian.
I remember the
Yeah,
name.
but continue. We pull
But
it up.
anyway, all over the world, you find people who grow their locks but they're what they're trying for, they're really just thinking, the way they see life is different. But they grow their hair and they look like Rasta. You have the Mau Maus in Kenya.
Like Kenya.
Right. So all over the world you have these people. I'm saying if Caucasian want to try the spiritual part of Rastafari, they have to name it something else. It's not Rastafari. I don't think so. It's not Rastafari. There's a lot of people in the world who see things the
that's why it's
same.
befitting. That's why it's befitting to have blocks. So you have different blocks within the movement that has different core functions. So you are saying that they can't be on the track to carry out any of these core functions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm saying there must be preservation. So the only way you preserve something in its pure nature is when it's handed down from generation to generation, right? Whether it's orally written, however the tradition is passed down for it to stay in its pure, intact nature, that's how it's traditionally done. So if you look at traditional societies, there's a core name, for example, that would rule in that society, right? So if you're from the lineage of Abraham, you will rule in your kingdom or kingship or whatever it is, because they preserve in certain ritual aspects, certain core aspects of organization and self to pass down from generation to generation within their own ethnic makeup, right? Because this is ethnicity, right? We're talking about ethnicity, ethnic makeup. So I think personally, yes, there must be something where because what happens is when you have integration, you have a breakdown. It's normally what do you call it? It's decadence. It's a breakdown. So with integration, no matter what you integrate into something, it breaks it down, right? It becomes something else then.
It
Water,
can. It
yeah,
can.
it can
It
break it
can.
down,
It
right?
can.
Yeah, for all practical purposes, we see it happening in cultural aspects. For example, we as Africans, the reason why I say that to the item is if we look at our tradition in the West, for example, right, we most of the times can't even identify with Africa. The reason being is we have lost ourselves. We have lost our teachings. Our core
Right.
teachings have been removed. So because they've been removed, there is an identity crisis. Now, for the organizations that have been formulated to keep these ideology intact, we must have a way to preserve the core ideology, teachings, principles within these organizations from that happening. because we have seen it happen through history and time, where when you have a certain type of people come into certain settings, what happens? And for us, we have lost a lot. We have lost language. We can't even express ourselves properly. We speak a language that is foreign to us, even though we are born here, because it is not genetically our makeup, right? We supposed to be speaking a Bantu language or something else, right? But we don't. So we do the best that we can with what we have. But when you take all of that and you put it with what we are speaking about, preservation, we must learn how to preserve what we know and develop under the circumstances in which we develop them. We must have some kind of protection. Inclusivity, yes, fine. But there must be preservation. We
There has
have
to
to
be
have
guidelines
preservation.
You know,
Yes,
because
yes.
historically as well, prior to Okabongo, the historically we have seen where in different Black Power movements, Caucasian people have infiltrated these movements, and it has led to the demise of
Mm-hmm.
these movements. Yes, Okabongo.
yeah, you know what I think we need to do? I think we need to have a Caucasian on the program to defend.
A Caucasian
Because
Rasta.
Yes.
a
Yes.
Caucasian, yeah. Well, yeah, okay.
Yes.
So they could, yeah, right. So let's say a Caucasian Rasta. You know what I
Yes.
mean? To defend
So they can
themselves.
expound their point.
Because the thing is, I don't know. I am trying to figure out their mindset.
Right.
Do a Caucasian Rasta want to repatriate to the motherland? Do a Caucasian
Of
Rasta
course,
see Africa as
of
the
course.
As
as the
Them,
home.
them
motherland?
under the same pressure. Them under
But
the same pressure with I and I, they and
But
I,
but
so
I'm
them,
saying
but it
I'm
them
wouldn't be
same
saying
their
feelings.
a
motherland.
Caucasian
Them
a
no mind
Caucasian is
lifting up.
not Africa is not their motherland. That's what I'm thinking. Or they see that we I'm confused. There's anything I don't understand what is their thinking. What they see as to them. But why
Yes,
what is it to
yes,
them? Is it
yes, Yaga. What did I say now?
So where I said them want to connect with the motherland because of the benefit that the motherland brought to them, because it's relaxation, it's scenic. Them don't under the stress, them don't under the same pressure that they experience in the
And
West.
these are all the vibrations
True.
that Rastafari bring.
True. True.
Yes. See, so you know, is
No,
that
but
is that is
but
that is that
me I talk about repatriation and Rasta black people want repatriate,
right?
you know, because
Yeah,
Right.
not
so that
because
where I said
not because
where I said them
not
people
because
But
they
we
we
want
already
to
know
repatriate
so the
too.
Caucasians want to go there.
well I
Because
know
them
well I
Yeah,
already
know
man,
been
them
trying
a
to take
well I
us
know
repatriate.
over.
A lot of them repatriate already.
No,
well I
that's not
know
repatriate. That's not repatriate. Them go there, but that's
They
not
capture the land.
repatriate.
well I
They
know
capture the land.
what me I say Rasta black people
Want to
Rasta the black people
repatriate
to
them.
repatriate
Yes,
not
sir.
because we want to go see a lion or see
No.
a
We
jungle
want to go
but
home.
because that
We
is
want to go
our
home.
home
We
we want
want to
to
go
go
home.
back home. So I'm saying, and that is a goal of Rastafari to
Mhm.
repatriate for
Yes,
all
sir.
black people to repatriate to go back
It's a tenet.
home. So I'm
It's a
saying,
All right.
if you are a so-called white Rasta, is this a thing that you want to do, repatriate home? And if you are repatriate home, is it Africa is your home? I don't know.
Yeah, but we have I
And
and
if you're
I.
a European, live in Europe, so-called white Rasta, you're already home to me.
Yes, that in Europe.
So
This
in Europe, so you want to
this is a
repatriate
complex.
where?
No, and next thing to
It's
get
a
again now,
complex issue.
when we look on slavery again, right? You add a mixing of the nations, right? The offspring, some of them came out where you could physically look at them and say they are black. And some of them came out where you could not physically look at them and say they are black. And them live their life from that time.
Them
Treading
naturalize.
as white, right?
Yeah.
Them naturalize in a
But
Rastafari.
them still have the black energy, the black vibe, the black genotype within them same way.
But
Them
Dada,
naturalize in a Rastafari.
if you whatever percentage of African you are,
Mm-hmm.
and why you identify that
Mm-hmm.
you are African,
Mm-hmm.
because we know those things.
Right.
Yeah, man. I say that you are African.
You're
You know what I
African,
mean?
right.
So there
So-
are exceptions.
So when we look at a person again and say, oh, this person is a white man saying him is a Rasta, again, we don't know
Nah, man.
No, but
Nah,
yeah,
right,
but
right,
we can't
right.
know. We can't know.
No,
It's two different things,
nobody
that.
with
It's
that.
two different things.
Nobody with the arms house business. We could
Yeah,
know.
because you have
Them man, them who was in Bingy. What is?
no, they're not. They're not no percent. No percent. Never
Yeah,
been.
what
Never
is?
been.
Don't come with
No
that.
percent.
Don't come with that arms house
No
argument.
All right.
percent.
All
No,
right.
yeah, you
See?
can
But we
tell.
just
You
said,
can
man, said my
tell.
lord,
Hold on.
you have ones, right?
Yeah,
Hold
man, you
on.
have
Two,
All right.
people
have that.
where hard to tell, but I
Yeah,
may
man,
say,
you have
but
ones like
once
that,
they
man.
claim African, they
Mm-hmm.
are African.
Right.
I also say they're African.
All right.
I'm not
That's
gonna
what
say
man said,
All
I
boy.
have
right.
ones like that.
I
But
see parallel.
there are the white people we know say still. You know what I mean? The percentage. You know what I mean?
But man said, you
100%.
can't tell by looking for you.
There's a
You can't tell by
parallel.
looking.
There's a parallel with those of us who have become naturalized in Europe or in the Americas. Seeing?
Right.
And we throw it back on home, and some people say that they'll never go back to Jamaica, they'll never go back to Trinidad. And they're accepted because of their naturalization. So that's a parallel I would want to look at. Should we be accepted in these places, in these different environments, in these different cultures?
Yeah, but we're not trying to introduce our or join anybody else's culture. And we come here for economic reasons, and they want us here for economic reasons. So we make the trade for development. The trade here is for
Yeah.
development. Now, what you're looking forward to, whether staying here, going back to your country, or going to Africa, that's your choice. But the reason why you're here is because they need you. They literally need
And
you.
it is a
Yaga,
mutual,
You
it's
don't
a
So
hear
mutual
because
Rastafari don't
beneficial
need them.
they
thing.
need.
Yaga,
Rastafari don't
Yes,
need them.
yes, it's the
Yeah.
same thing.
hold
So
on,
we come
hold
from
on.
a
Yaga,
economic church. And
Yeah.
as in reality, economics, you need money to do things, right? So man make the
Yeah,
choice,
but
hey, we're
this
gonna charge the
money is
better.
involved here. This is a spiritual channel.
Yaga, I have a saying, right? I think I'm the one that come up with it. I don't think I hear it nowhere else. If you see the lion in the goat pen, it's not a goat. When you see the lion in the goat pen, it's not a goat. It's just it's because the lion is hungry and he's looking at goat. He's hunting.
Right.
You know what I mean? So not because you see us in certain lands. We're not becoming what they are over here. We're still what we are. You know what I mean? We're just over here hunting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the mindset of moving back home or you know what I mean, or moving on.
But some
But
are
just
not.
because
Some doesn't have
You
that
know,
mindset. And I
true
would
that.
some
say
doesn't
that
have,
is
True,
the
but
parallel.
true.
That
that's
is the
about I
parallel
and
I'm
I
referring to.
we talk about.
That is the
Yeah.
parallel I'm referring to. That means there
Right.
are gonna be people who come to us because of the spiritual identity, because of the
And the
culture, and
development.
because of the trad of Rastafari.
Yeah,
Yeah,
different
man.
reasons. Different
And we
reasons.
understand that, you know. Say people, I go see Rastafari and say, okay, we like how Rastafari move, we like how them see things, we like how Rastafari view things, but I'm saying there are still core values of the trad.
We have to stay yeah.
You have to stay outside and say, okay,
Definitely.
I like them over there.
Yeah.
Because
So
there are
what?
things that I like about certain cultures in Caucasian. So,
But you're not gonna identify as those things.
no, because as a
Right.
Caucasian doing things what I like that, but I'm not gonna because I do it and become a Caucasian. I see the
Right.
people and say, okay,
Right.
I like that what those people in Estonia do. I like that the way that they
You know,
in Iceland.
yes, sir. You know what's the right, yeah, over there gonna be a sheer. I experienced what I go through within the Rastafari church, right? And I'm gonna share an experience that is common to I and Yaga, right?
Yeah, man. Because when I look back at the reasoning, I say, all right, that I never go in Panawania. We know we're gonna have it in the next trad, but yeah, I'm gonna give him a pass on that one.
you know what's the right? We make a sojourn to the England side, right? And we was there for a while and we try look employment. I try get a work to kind of stabilize and situate yourself, right? Now, when we got there, we coming from a institution where there was a lot of representatives, both from the same year group, the lower and above, right? And when we got there, most of them were in the field that we were in, which is educator, right? So when we link with the ones them and thing, and I said, why? Well, I get to work, and thing, and if I'm the link or whatever. But I tell you, say, one bridging, right? The bridging, they live like, what I say, like 5 minutes from where I stay, right? So, meet him, I will go down on a theme block one day, and we down there reason, like tonight, right? The reason everything good, and they must say, all right, we'll check out the work, people can check him tomorrow and thing, right? This when we go tomorrow to check the bridging, and we press the doorbell, it's an Indian lady me here answer. So I say, oh, the bridge around. I said, no one the bridge move between last night and today. The bridge attempts to come check him, and I tell you, within that time, the bridge move. Now I set no phone call and I said nothing, right? It end up say we get an interview, right? So I go on the interview, I meet this lady, Caucasian lady. Right? Caucasian lady. And just through the energy, what she observed me I deal with, because when I'm going to the class, you see a little youth who have some problems in the class, and we just start helping right away. Why, remember say observe is supposed to go to the class, but observe the lesson, But right away, due to the natural aspect of being a teacher, and we start helping the people in the class and really don't think and show them. And just by doing that, the lady say, you know what? You are the person I want, right? She employ me. Through her giving me that chance, through her observing me in my lessons and things, she come to me and say, me know anyone like myself or me could have recommend a position like that. Right away, I recommend Yaga. Because Yaga was in the same situation as well, like the eye. Just like I said, him come and him get employment as well. Right? Now, the reason why me identify this, I said, that person as a Caucasian lady. I want to call her name, but I don't want to call her name like
No name is necessary, but big her up still.
Yeah, man, big up, man. You understand?
I wonder why not big up somebody?
Big up if
them,
you
man.
want big up, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
And wig it.
Yeah, man. Big them
Yeah,
up, man.
man.
They deserve
Yeah,
it.
man. And wig
Yeah,
it,
man.
man. And I tell you, said, out of that, we even get a next youth through her as well,
Yeah.
employed. You understand?
Yeah.
So the point I want to make is that we had people who were in the field, who were in positions of heads of departments, senior teachers, positions where they could easily have help.
Yeah, man.
And they took.
I
They feel
even have
nothing.
brethren we used to dip on the ground together, and me are the man on the ground. And then them there, so them are the man. Them have interview, my lord. And me come out of the interview without a word. Them out tell me say them friend decided against me. Regardless of what your friend think, me are your general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't
You
know
say your
yet.
general and make them know, say, yo, everything me know, and them man they make me know what me know. So if you think me good, them man they greater.
Right.
Seal him up.
Depend yard.
Me couldn't fathom that, me couldn't imagine that, but at the end of the day, we kick off some door and open up some door for enough youth same way, because that we always do, we always break bread. And there are people, like I said, who identify with I and I because they like the way I and I move, and they like the way we tread, and they see something that they can identify with because of their struggle also. So they move along in that regards on the trad.
Yes,
It's energy. It's energy.
The point,
It's energy, man.
the point of the
Energy.
reasoning I make why me say this, is to say sometimes we might have looked for a thing just for a racial level, and sometimes we have to just know that people are humanity we are dealing with.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, man,
But
humanity.
Ras,
I
but
understand.
I don't think anywhere in our conversation we look at anything like that, right? And a inhumane name is always on a human level, right? I think what we are saying though too is cultural practices, right? What we call cultural practices could only be preserved by those of that culture. So
it brings us now to where we go identify and say Rastafari, the culture is solely a black culture.
no. Like I said before, we inclusive, but we must have things that we preserve
To
as a
safeguard the
people.
preservation.
Yeah, you must have preservation.
And based off our brother Dulani said, non-reoccurrence.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
must
That
have
an
preservation
ideology
and
of
none. Yeah,
non-reoccurrence.
yes,
Right.
yes,
So
yes.
this is why I'm saying, of my opinion is that there has to be structure within Rastafari to safeguard those things. So
Yes,
as
yes.
the $1 million question is what Okabonga said, how are we gonna do that? And that is where we think we have to do it in terms of how do we establish a structure to safeguard the culture. Because we cannot prevent ones of different nations from being attracted to the liberty
No,
and
no,
lifestyle
no.
of
And that
We
is not
Rastafari.
the
cannot.
We
purpose. The
cannot do that.
purpose of
So
Right.
Rastafari is
Dada,
inclusivity.
Right.
so that's not the purpose of Rastafari. As I said, the thing is, black people went through an ordeal, right?
Right.
And
At the end of Caucasian.
Rastafari is a vehicle to move black people from one state of mind
Yeah,
to
to another.
another state of mind.
Right.
And
And in that process,
I said black people because
in that process,
white
it move
people
other people as well.
was in that situation. So the main thing of Rastafari to move black people from one mindset to another mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't, for me, that doesn't include white people. White people wasn't in that situation.
Question, what is the mindset that it is moving black people from? Or what is the mindset that it is to move black people to?
From
So the mindset that black
enslavement to
people have,
freedom.
it's about freedom of mind to find them the self that there was before slavery. We're talking about, you know what I mean, black to liberate themselves to know that, okay, we talk about skin bleaching earlier. You know what I mean? To those things. Oh, we're gonna tell black all right, we're gonna be telling black people, say, don't try to look white. So what that's said for a white man in Rastafari, I don't even know. Or a white man look at that. Because I'm telling a black person, don't try to look like another Rasta.
Man.
Yeah.
All
You know what I
right.
mean?
No,
So it's a
not-
different mindset
no,
because
no.
you see,
That
white
is
people don't
different.
face the
And
things
I
that
wish
black
it-
people face.
That is different.
what I
and
mean?
we shouldn't complicate the two.
We shouldn't.
It's
We
two
shouldn't.
different issues.
But Yaga, I'm saying,
All right.
white people didn't go through what black people go through. You know what I mean? And
Agreed.
that is the core of Rastafari, to move black people from that mindset, because we are stuck in mental slavery.
All right. Now, so the purpose is to move from a captivated mind to a liberated mind.
The free mind,
Right?
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that Caucasians did not have a captivated mind?
Not
No,
in
they
the way
didn't
that
have
black
the
people are.
Not in
experience.
the way that not in the same way, but
No.
I'm saying
No.
so white people don't have a need for a liberation in their minds.
Yes, they do, but we're not talking about
do.
why the organizations were formulated. It was
And
formulated to
again,
free black minds.
that is why they came to the trad, because they could identify with the struggles.
Right.
Yes, the core understanding
Yaga,
is
they have similar
identifying with
struggles,
it,
and we know
but
they
the
have similar struggles, you know.
experience is never the same. It's not the same
It's not the same. It's not the same
experience.
experience.
No,
It
the
don't
experience
matter.
is
You
not
could
the
never
same in
have
the
the
fire.
same experience.
No. I don't
No.
think any nation in the earth have the
No,
experience
could
of
have
the
the same
Africans.
yeah.
No.
Right?
Yeah,
I don't
so,
think any
but that
nation
is
in the
why
world
the
have the experience of the
but that's what we're
Africans.
talking about. So based
Right.
on the Pan-African movement or identity, this is the African experience they're dealing with. Rastafari, Rasta is the African experience. That's what we're dealing
Yeah.
with. But we have to deal with how we, like I said again, it's not about exclusivity, it's inclusivity. We accept
Right.
everyone. We do.
Yeah.
But there
Okay,
must
Bongo,
be.
the people in Senegal you were talking about are the Wolof, right?
Was they Wolof?
The Wolof people.
That name sound familiar to me. Maybe they were. It sound familiar.
Okay. All right.
Wolof.
The reality is Rastafari has moved from a tabooed culture a tabooed way of life to one that everywhere in the world there's a representation of the Rastafari culture, Rastafari movement. As with anything, once there's widespread growth, there are gonna be variations. There's gonna be changes, right? But I don't think that change is necessarily a negative thing. A lot of times you see negative changes, but I don't think it necessarily has to be a negative thing. And I think that there has to be structure to accommodate these things, because as we spread this message of Rastafari globally, it is going to attract people from other nations. And that is why I identify that every nation in this world carries the unity of Rastafari. It is under a different name, and there may be certain ideologies that are different, but at its core, it is the same unity, that natural lifestyle, that positive mindset, that togetherness, that striving for progress, for improvement, for self-improvement, for bettering oneself. These core things are the same. It is represented in every nation within
Every
the earth.
human being.
Every nation, right?
Yeah.
So as we grow as Rastafari people, and we see the inclusion of different nations within the Rastafari, we have to be cognizant, we have to be aware that we did undergo tremendous atrocities and
I want that.
hardship. Where is it? Where is it?
I'm not
Dog will be weaponized.
taking it, dog.
At the
That's a
hands,
lie, I tell
at
that.
the hands of these people. So therefore, we have to be aware of that, and we have to safeguard that these things cannot happen again, just on the premise of us including them in this movement, in this nation.
Yes, sir.
But I don't see how we can exclude them. So all we can do is manage it. Don't just leave it up to chance and say, oh, well, whatever. No, we have to safeguard this by having a structure, a plan, a way forward. And that is how I see this movement. You know?
Rastafari.
Yes, sir, every time, Give thanks. I think this has been a wonderful
Yeah.
reasoning.
Wrap it up.
A reasoning where we were of the different opinions.
That's
we
what
have
the
different
balance views is about.
Yes, sir. So I want to see in the comments. What the item think of this reasoning. What the item think of white Caucasian people taking up the chat of Rastafari. Do you think it is something that is safe? You think it is something that is safe, and is it something that we should welcome?
Yes,
Rastafari,
I would love all the white Caucasian with locks to comment and let me know what
let us know what the yes, sir.
Yes.
Or who identify as Rasta.
Rastafari, yes,
if
sir.
they identify, yeah, right. Who identify as
good
Rasta?
Yes, sir. Give thanks. So do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for the support. Thank you for sharing your time, your valuable time with us. We appreciate it. And we look forward to having you on our next track class, where we're going to find even more interesting things to discuss and even more thought-provoking topics. So from Brother Okavongo, the Rebel Guru, Brother Bingi,
Give thanks.
Brother
Give thanks for
Yaga,
life.
Teacher Ma'at, yours truly, Ras Dada, from the Perfect Balance Track class, we want to say thank you for being a part of this journey, and have a wonderful day. Thank